This image contains Dutch text and a logo of what could possibly be the developer of the game, Phantasm. A brief search of this company returns no mention of it on the rest of the internet. A Chinese animation studio by the name of Steamworks produced a short featuring Pat and Matt dancing to a Chinese pop song, which was made to promote the release of a feature film likely similar to those seen in the West. Steamworks also released a behind-the-scenes video showing the animation process. According to the Pat and Matt Wikipedia page, the station Schweizer Fernsehen, Swiss TV, banned some episodes due to them containing too much slapstick violence, which was deemed too dangerous. However, the French and Italian channels in the multilingual nation of Switzerland did broadcast these episodes. This is another entry that comes directly from the Wikipedia page. It reads, in 2003, Fox Kids Europe bought the rights from Atelieri Bondonslin to air episodes 2 through 26 on the Fox Kids network in several countries, including the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, Germany, Greece, Portugal, and Brazil. The show had its intro and outro changed, and almost all scenes in which the characters used knives or which contained slapstick violence deemed too intense were cut. Later airings put the original intro back in, but replaced the outro with a narration warning against imitating the behavior of the series' characters. This one is quite the rabbit hole with lots of information available which you can probably best read on the Ayatology blog. However, the long and short of it is that the episodes of the original Ayato were released in Japan in 2001 by a company named TDK Deep Impression. These episodes are known as the TDK Collection and funnily enough have considerably higher production quality than the original Czech releases. In fact, the entire picture is slightly bigger in the TDK Collection, revealing that the original was cropped for some reason. KieubasaTV is a Polish humorous YouTube channel that takes Pat and Matt episodes and overdubs Polish dialogue that is very offensive. The hilarity of this, of course, is found in the fact that Pat and Matt is a show aimed at children, and is thus normally untouched by themes considered for adults.
Do czego one służą?
A chuj wie, zaraz ci pokażę. Patrz. To wypierdolę tutaj do pieca.
Another straightforward entry. The Korean English dub refers to episodes released by AIF Asia and Korean home media distributor Elite. To me, this English dub sounds somewhat eerie and unsettling, but perhaps it just needs some getting used to. More about this can be found in the linked video, which is excellent.
Let's paste new wallpaper. I am coming.
Patamatmemes is a Czech Facebook page devoted to memes regarding the iconic duo. Notably, and in similar humor to KieubasaTV from before, many memes on it contain explicit themes and language. Pat and Matt live action could refer to several things. Most obviously, to a short film by Divide Films depicting Pat and Matt as two real people. However, the term could also refer to either of the two Dutch Buurman Buurman live shows. One of these was very professionally produced and held in a theatre, whereas the other one was much lower effort and intended as a prelude to a meet and greet featuring two actors in costumes. As the title of this entry says, our beloved handymen weren't always known as Pat and Matt. As we saw earlier, the first episode, Kuchatsi, was followed by the Ayato era for many years. During this time, however, the two never had official names. The article on this on the Ayatology website does show documents that prove that the two did have names used in production. K1 and K2, presumably short for Kutsak and Kutil, which translate to little boy and handyman respectively. It sounds very out of the blue, but it's true. A 1999 DVD released by AIF casually drops Pat and Matt's life stories. Especially remarkable is the degree to which the pair pursued intellectual subjects, and that the canon considers them to be employed as actors in comedy films. Tastefully meta. I'm not 100% confident on this entry, but it seems to refer to a 1999 Pat and Matt DVD released by AIF, which contains a different logo compared to the VHS version. Notable is that this DVD was the first ever DVD release of Pat and Matt. The footage speaks for itself. As mentioned in the previous part of these videos, Vinari is a Pat and Matt episode that features winemaking, albeit with an unexpected twist at the end. The Pat and Matt Wikipedia page reads, "In November 2008, on AIF TV 2, an accidental broadcast of an uncensored version of the episode Vinari, in which the main characters are making wine and later consuming it, led to the dismissal of 3 employees of Iranian television. In July 2020, it happened once again on the Com provincial network. In a statement, the public relations of Com Central Radio and Television apologized for the broadcast of this animation and announced that in order to compensate for this mistake, the agents who inadvertently did so were reprimanded by the Director General of the Center. All airings of episodes on IRAP Nahal and Telewebion have been modified to remove or alter scenes showing wine, while scenes featuring a statue of a nude man have it blurred out. The reason for all this outrage is likely that Iran is a predominantly Muslim country, and thus any consumption or production of ethanol is haram." This is a very mysterious entry. There are some relatively obscure videos on YouTube that seem to be early episodes of Ayato in audiobook form. Unfortunately, I don't understand Czech, so all I can say about these is that the narrator does sound effects with his voice, beyond just reading a script, and that there are musical fragments. I imagine these could be very enjoyable as bedtime stories.
Konzervu uložil na podnos, zahrabal v zásuvce, ve které se to hemžilo rozmanitými a velice užitečnými věcmi, mezi kterými byla kupodivu i lžíce. Tu si mat položil. As
briefly mentioned in the previous episode, Data is a fan-made episode of Pat and Matt from 2004 that, to put it bluntly, involves the two going out on the street and shooting people. They seem to do this out of their dissatisfaction with shooting video games. The episode was made by Norwegian duo Tom Itland and Knut Arne Lindeland, and also has some interesting reviews on the Internet Archive. Again, on the obscure side of things, there is a video of a Korean language Pat Matt game being played. After a genuinely weird title screen, the player enters a platformer similar to classics like Super Mario, in which Pat and Matt make their way through levels by striking harmless-looking animals with wrenches, collecting fruits and nuts, and placing bombs. Interestingly, the majority of the game is played as Matt, with only a brief underwater section featuring Pat wearing a snorkel. This is straightforward. Pat and Matt were drawn onto the r/place canvas, a Reddit community project that runs every April Fools at some point in time. If anyone can find which edition of r/place this was, please let me know in the comments, as the only vague pointer I have is a Reddit post from 2 years ago mentioning the drawing. It's unclear to me what group of people could have achieved this, as there is no major patamat subreddit, but the most likely artist could be someone from the patamatmemes subreddit, since they are the largest as of the making of this video. The enigmatic 50th episode of Patamat, titled Playing Cards, contains a scene with a painting on the wall of an all too familiar boat, possibly a reference to the intro of The Simpsons. On October 9th, 2020, Dutch artist Frankie placed street art involving Patamat where a street sign had disappeared in Amsterdam. The art shows the pair painting the sign back on the wall. Sadly, according to Frankie, it disappeared on April 27, 2022. However, on the 6th of May 2023, Frankie decided to place another artwork close to where the original was. This new edition was placed higher up and features a comical misspelling in Dutch. And yes, I did in fact record this footage myself. I partake in Patamat tourism, you do not. We are not the same. As mentioned briefly before, there is a subreddit dedicated to memes about Patamat, similar to the Facebook page discussed in part 1. In fact, even the type of content posted on this site is similar, pertaining mostly to adult humor, very atypical to what Patamat are canonically about. Venturing back into more absurd territory, there is an Arabic dub of Patamat in which they are named Swaylem and Obaid. Especially episodes from the Ayato era seem to have been covered.
بس شوية ما تيوز يا سويلم ما تيوز يا عبيد ما تيوز يا سويلم ما تيوز يا عبيد